For more than 50 years, nobody had entered Blackstone Prison. The massive stone prison stood alone on a hill overlooking a forgotten valley. Rusted fences surrounded the property, while broken watchtowers leaned against the wind. Local residents avoided the place completely. Stories surrounded the prison. People claimed strange lights appeared in empty cells at night. Others reported hearing screams echoing from inside, despite the building being abandoned for decades. Most dismissed the stories as legends. Daniel Carter did not. A documentary filmmaker fascinated by abandoned places, Daniel spent years exploring forgotten buildings across the country. When he heard about Blackstone Prison, he immediately became interested. One rainy autumn evening, Daniel arrived at the prison carrying cameras, flashlights, and recording equipment. The enormous iron gate stood open. That alone felt strange. Official records claimed the gate had been locked for years. Yet now it slowly moved in the wind. As Daniel entered the prison grounds, an uneasy feeling settled over him. The building seemed to watch him. Its dark windows resembled empty eyes. Inside, the prison remained frozen in time. Old desks still stood inside administrative offices. Dust covered every surface. Prison records remained scattered across the floor. Daniel began filming. Everything appeared normal, until he reached cell block C. The corridor stretched endlessly through darkness. Rows of iron bars lined both sides. Then Daniel noticed something impossible. Fresh footprints. Clear footprints in decades-old dust. Someone had walked there recently. Yet no other vehicle stood outside. Nobody should have been inside. Daniel followed the tracks. The footprints led toward the final cell at the end of the corridor. Cell 333, the most infamous cell in Blackstone Prison. As he approached, the temperature suddenly dropped. Then he heard it. A whisper. Soft, barely audible, coming from inside the empty cell. And someone whispered his name. Daniel froze. The whisper had been clear. Someone inside cell 333 knew his name. Slowly, he raised his flashlight toward the bars. The cell appeared empty. A rusty bed. A cracked sink. Peeling paint on the walls. Nothing else. Yet the whisper came again. Daniel. The filmmaker stepped backward. His camera continued recording. Then his flashlight illuminated something carved into the wall. Hundreds of names. Prisoners who had occupied the cell over many decades. One name appeared larger than the others. Marcus Hale. Daniel immediately recognized it. Marcus Hale had been Blackstone Prison's most dangerous inmate. Convicted of multiple murders, he had spent 20 years inside cell 333. Official records claimed he died there during a prison riot shortly before the facility closed. Yet rumors told a different story. Many guards believed Marcus never left. Daniel approached the wall. Below Marcus Hale's name appeared another message, scratched deeply into the concrete. I am still here. A loud metal clang echoed through the corridor. Daniel spun around. Several cell doors now stood open. Moments earlier they had been closed. The filmmaker felt panic rising. Then his camera screen flickered. Static filled the display. A distorted figure appeared briefly. Standing behind him, Daniel turned immediately. Nothing. The corridor remained empty. Then footsteps echoed somewhere deeper within the prison. Heavy footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Coming closer. Someone was walking through Blackstone Prison, and they were heading directly toward cell 333. The footsteps continued. Daniel followed the sound through the prison. The noise led beyond cell block C toward a section marked permanently closed. An iron security door blocked the passage. Surprisingly, it stood slightly open. Daniel squeezed through. Beyond it lay a forgotten wing absent from prison maps. Dust covered everything. The air smelled ancient. Rows of abandoned cells stretched into darkness. Then Daniel found something shocking. A secret prison wing, hidden beneath Blackstone. Inside several cells remained old prisoner files. Many names never appeared in official records. The inmates had been erased from history. At the end of the hallway stood a reinforced steel door. Unlike everything else, it showed signs of recent use. Scratches covered the metal, as if someone had been trying to escape. Daniel pushed the door open. A circular chamber waited beyond. The room contained only a chair and restraints bolted to the floor. The prison had hidden something here. Something important. Suddenly, every light on Daniel's equipment failed. His flashlight died. His camera shut off. Darkness swallowed the chamber. Then a voice emerged behind him. A calm voice. A human voice. You should have left. Daniel slowly turned. A shadow stood in the darkness, watching him. smiling, and its face looked exactly like Marcus Hale. The shadow stepped forward. Its features became clearer. Marcus Hale, or something pretending to be him. Daniel backed away. The figure never blinked, never breathed, yet it continued smiling. Blackstone was never meant to close, it said. The chamber suddenly trembled. Metal groaned throughout the prison. Cell doors slammed open across the building. Somewhere above, alarms began ringing despite having no power for decades. The shadow pointed toward the walls. Images appeared. Daniel watched scenes from the prison's past. Riots, violence, executions, years of suffering trapped inside the stone building. The prison had absorbed it all. Every fear, every scream, every death. The spirit before him wasn't simply Marcus Hale. It was Blackstone itself, a living nightmare created by decades of misery. The entity fed on anyone who entered, keeping them trapped forever. Suddenly, dozens of ghostly figures appeared around the chamber. Former prisoners, former guards, all watching silently. The walls began closing inward. The prison was awakening, and Daniel realized he had become its newest prisoner. Unless he found a way out. Fast. The chamber shook violently. Ghostly figures surrounded Daniel from every direction. The shadow of Marcus Hale moved closer. Its smile widened. "You belong here now." Daniel refused to accept it. He grabbed his camera. Surprisingly, it powered on again. The bright recording light illuminated the room. The spirits recoiled instantly. The entity screamed. Daniel suddenly understood. The prison thrived in darkness. Light weakened it. He activated every light source he carried. Flashlights, camera lamps, emergency strobes. The chamber exploded with brightness. The ghostly prisoners vanished. The shadow began breaking apart. Cracks of light spread across its body. The entity released one final roar before dissolving into darkness. At that moment, the prison fell silent. The walls stopped moving. The alarms stopped. Everything became still. Daniel ran. Through the hidden wing. Past cell block C. Past cell 333. Toward the exit. As dawn broke over Blackstone Hill, he escaped through the front gate. Behind him, the prison stood silent once again. Authorities later searched the building. They found no hidden wing, no circular chamber, no evidence of what Daniel described. Only one strange discovery remained. Inside cell 333, freshly carved into the wall, investigators found a single message: he escaped. To this day, Blackstone Prison remains abandoned. Yet locals still report lights in the windows after midnight. And sometimes, during quiet nights, visitors hear footsteps moving through empty corridors, searching for the next prisoner.